Hello! Welcome back to English with Ella. I hope you are well, and I hope, very sincerely, that you slept well last night. Because today's story is about a night when I absolutely did not. Now, if you are new here, welcome! My name is Ella, and every episode, I tell you a true story from my life in clear, natural English. Perfect for A2 and B1 learners who want to improve their listening skills just by listening. No textbooks, no grammar tables, just a story and a cup of tea. Or coffee, depending on what kind of day you are having. Today's episode is called My Brain Would Not Stop. And I genuinely think, that this might be the most relatable story I have told so far. Because this is not a story about something dramatic happening. There was no rain, no getting lost, no accidental announcements in French. No. This story is about lying in bed at 3 a.m, completely awake, while your brain decides that right now, right at this moment, is the perfect time to think about absolutely everything. Every mistake you have ever made. Every awkward conversation. Every email you forgot to send. Every slightly weird thing you said to someone in 2019 that you still think about. You know exactly what I mean. And our first word today is the perfect word for that feeling. Restless. Restless. Restless means unable to relax or stay still. When you are restless, your body and your mind cannot settle. You cannot get comfortable. You cannot switch off. Everything feels slightly tense, slightly unsettled, slightly on edge. Here are your examples. She felt restless all evening. She couldn't sit still or focus on anything. That means she couldn't relax. Her body and mind kept moving. The children were restless on the long car journey. That means they couldn't sit still. They were uncomfortable and unsettled. I went to bed early, but I felt restless and couldn't sleep. That means my body was tired, but my mind would not settle. I could not relax enough to sleep. Restless. That is exactly how I felt on the night of this story. Okay, let's go back to that night. So, the day itself had been completely normal. Nothing unusual, nothing stressful. A regular Wednesday. Work, some errands, dinner at home, a bit of reading. Nothing that should have kept me awake. And yet, at 2:30 a.m, I was lying in the dark, staring at the ceiling, completely and utterly awake. I had gone to bed at 11. That's 3.5 hours of just lying there, thinking, going around and around. Which brings us to word number 2. To overthink. To overthink. To overthink means to think about something too much, so much that it makes things worse, not better. When you overthink, you go around and around the same thought, adding more worry each time, making a small thing feel very big. It is exhausting, and it is extremely common. Here are your examples. She tends to overthink decisions. She makes simple things complicated. That means she thinks too much. She adds worry where it isn't needed. Stop overthinking it. Just send the email. That means you are spending too much time worrying about something simple. Just do it. I was overthinking everything at 3 a.m, things that weren't even real problems. That means my brain took small things and made them feel enormous, in the middle of the night. To overthink. Oh, I am very good at it. particularly at 3 in the morning, particularly about things I cannot change and which are probably completely fine. So there I was, lying in bed, overthinking. First, I started thinking about a conversation I had at work. Just a normal, ordinary conversation. But my brain decided, was that weird? Did I say the wrong thing? Did she think that was rude? It wasn't rude. Was it rude? It wasn't rude. I knew it wasn't rude. And yet I lay there for 45 minutes thinking about it. Then, once I had finished with that, my brain moved on. Oh, I should exercise more. What was that thing I was supposed to do last Tuesday? I need to call my mother. Is that bill paid? When did I last water the plants? Are the plants okay? I should check the plants. At 3 in the morning, lying in the dark, worrying about the plants. And here is the thing about being awake at 3 in the morning. Everything feels bigger than it is. Worries that would be tiny in the daytime feel enormous in the dark. A small problem becomes a crisis. A mild uncertainty becomes a catastrophe. And so I did what many people do in this situation. I tossed and turned. Word 3. To toss and turn. To toss and turn. To toss and turn means to keep moving around in bed because you cannot get comfortable or cannot sleep. You turn onto one side, then the other, then onto your back. Then you flip the pillow to find the cold side. Then you start again. Your examples. I tossed and turned all night and woke up exhausted. That means I kept moving in bed. I could not get comfortable. I didn't sleep well. She tossed and turned for hours before finally falling asleep. That means she couldn't settle. She kept moving, kept trying to find a comfortable position. Stop tossing and turning. Just get up and have some water. That means if you can't sleep, sometimes it's better to get up briefly than to keep lying there struggling. To toss and turn. I tossed and turned for what felt like hours. Pillow on the left, pillow on the right. Too warm, too cold. Duvet on, duvet off. It is a very specific kind of misery. So, by about 3:30, I gave up trying to sleep and got up. I went to the kitchen. I made myself a cup of herbal tea. Something calming. Chamomile, I think. I sat at my kitchen table in the dark with just the small lamp on, and I just sat there. And something interesting happened. The moment I stopped fighting the wakefulness, the moment I stopped lying in bed thinking I should be asleep, why am I not asleep? I actually started to feel slightly calmer. There is something almost peaceful about being the only person awake. The house is completely quiet. Outside is quiet. The world is still. And if you stop fighting it, if you accept that you are awake and that is okay, there is a strange kind of peace in it. I sat with my tea. I looked out of the dark window. I thought about nothing in particular. And that brings us to word 4. Exhausted. Exhausted. Exhausted means extremely tired, completely drained. Not just a little bit tired. Exhausted is the deepest level of tiredness. Your body feels heavy. Your eyes feel heavy. You have nothing left. You are exhausted. Here are your examples. She was exhausted after working all weekend without a break. That means she was deeply, completely tired, not just a little sleepy. He looked exhausted. dark circles, slow movements, barely keeping his eyes open. That means you could see the tiredness on him. It was written all over his face. I was exhausted, but I still couldn't sleep. That means my body was completely drained, but my mind would not switch off. The tired was there, the sleep was not. Exhausted. By 4 in the morning, I was exhausted, but also, somehow, slightly more peaceful than I had been lying in bed. I finished my tea. I rinsed the cup. I went back to bed. And this time, I lay down, pulled the duvet up, closed my eyes. And I started to drift off. Word 5. To drift off. To drift off. To drift off means to gradually fall asleep. Not suddenly, not one moment awake and the next moment gone, but slowly, gently, drifting. Like a boat moving away from a dock. The thoughts get quieter, the body gets heavier, and you drift off. Your examples. She drifted off in front of the television. That means she fell asleep gradually, without really meaning to. He was so tired he drifted off in the middle of the conversation. That means sleep just took him, slowly and quietly. I finally drifted off at around 4:30. That means, after a long time awake, sleep finally came. Gradually, gently. To drift off. I finally drifted off at around 4:15, which meant I had about 3 hours before my alarm. 3 hours. Not ideal. But enough. Just enough. Okay, let's look at our final 2 words. And they are both really satisfying words. Words that feel good to say and feel even better to experience. Word number 6. Eventually. Eventually. Eventually means after a long time, finally. When something happens eventually, it doesn't happen quickly. It takes time. There are delays, difficulties, long waits. But in the end, eventually, it happens. Here are your examples. She eventually found the keys. They were in her coat pocket the whole time. That means it took a while. There was searching and frustration, but finally she found them. He eventually learned to drive after 3 attempts at the test. That means it didn't happen immediately. It took time and effort, but it happened. I eventually fell asleep at around 4:30 in the morning. That means after a very long time awake, after tossing and turning, after herbal tea at the kitchen table, eventually, finally, sleep came. Eventually, such a useful word, and such a comforting one too, because eventually implies that the thing does happen. Eventually, the keys are found. Eventually, you fall asleep. Eventually, things are okay. Eventually. And our final word, word 7, is my favorite of the episode, because it describes something we have all felt, something wonderful. Relief. Relief. Relief is the good feeling when something difficult or worrying is finally over. When the thing you were dreading passes. When the pain stops. When the long wait ends. That feeling, that exhale, that loosening, that warmth in your chest, that is relief. Here are your examples. She felt enormous relief when the exam was finally over. That means the worry, the tension, the dread, all of it released the moment the exam ended. Relief. He sighed with relief when he heard everything was okay. That means the worry disappeared. What replaced it was relief. Warm, quiet, wonderful relief. Waking up and realizing it was Saturday, pure relief. That means you had been dreading something, and then you realized it's not today, it's the weekend. Relief. Relief. When my alarm went off at 7:30, 3 hours after I had eventually drifted off, I felt many things. Tired, yes. Slightly foggy, yes. But also, strangely, a small sense of relief. The night was over. I had got through it. The overthinking, the tossing and turning, the 3:30 kitchen table tea, all of it was behind me. And the day ahead was full of light. Okay, let's go through all 7 words one final time. Word 1. Restless. Unable to relax or stay still. Body and mind that will not settle. She felt restless all evening. The children were restless. I went to bed but felt restless and couldn't sleep. Word 2. To overthink. To think about something too much, making it worse, not better. She tends to overthink decisions. Stop overthinking it. I was overthinking everything at 3 in the morning. Word 3. To toss and turn. To keep moving in bed because you cannot sleep or get comfortable. I tossed and turned all night. She tossed and turned for hours. Stop tossing and turning, just get up. Word 4. Exhausted. Extremely tired, completely drained of energy. She was exhausted after working all weekend. He looked exhausted. I was exhausted but still couldn't sleep. Word 5. To drift off. To gradually fall asleep, slowly and gently. She drifted off in front of the television. He drifted off mid-conversation. I finally drifted off at 4:30. Word 6. Eventually. After a long time. Finally. In the end. She eventually found the keys. He eventually learned to drive. I eventually fell asleep at 4:30 in the morning. Word 7. Relief. The good feeling when something difficult or worrying is finally over. She felt enormous relief when the exam ended. He sighed with relief. Waking up and realizing it was Saturday? Pure relief. 7 words, all real, all natural, all useful in everyday English. And now, my question for you. Do you ever lie awake at night with your brain refusing to stop? What do you think about? What keeps you awake? And what do you do to help yourself sleep? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one, yes, even at 3 in the morning. Probably especially at 3 in the morning. And if you are enjoying English with Ella, please subscribe. New episodes, new stories, natural English for real life. Coming up in the next episode, I want to tell you about the day I met a stranger who completely changed my afternoon. No drama, no disaster. Just a small, unexpected conversation that stayed with me for a very long time. Sometimes the smallest moments are the ones that matter most. That episode is called The Stranger Who Changed My Day. Until then, keep listening, keep learning. And if you are awake at 3 in the morning worrying about the plants are fine, I promise. Go back to sleep. See you in the next one. Bye for now.